What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's weather forecast outlook for Monday, April 17th, 2023. We'll take a look at the weather for the rest of today, next several days, and touch a little bit on the long range. Taking a look at the national satellite picture here, you can see a large majority of the country is quiet, with exceptions to this upper level low over the Great Lakes. And we do have a system that's entering the picture in the northwest, bringing some showers and rain. And this front in the southeast over Florida, it's very slow to clear out. This boundary is still generating some convection. Taking a look at radar, you can see there's this spin over the Great Lakes. It's an upper level system. It's actually provided some snow to portions of Wisconsin. Chicago, you saw rain and snow showers. There's colder air with this, and it's going to push into the northeast as we head into tomorrow. Here's the rain that's pushing into places like Seattle and Washington State. And then you come down here, you do have some convection which continues off the Florida coast. And we may see some more convection pop as this tries to exit the picture slowly. National hazards map, yes, that's blizzard warnings you see in northern Wisconsin. They will probably expire in the next few hours as this system generally pushes east. You can see some winter weather advisories in the mountains of California and Oregon. You also have some wind advisories up out there as well, as 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts are possible. New Mexico, western Texas, portions of Colorado, and portions of Kansas, there is a wildfire threat. Do not be throwing any lit cigarettes or matches or any unnecessary burning. The ground is dry. You do not want to cause a wildfire. In the east, relatively quiet conditions. Although in the northeast, I will say this. It's been a breezy day today, and that's going to continue as this system pushes eastward. All right, taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center here. And day one, there's a marginal risk of severe storms across for Texas today. I'm not too concerned. 5% chance of wind, 5% chance of hail. Very few storms will form, but the ones that do form, there could be some hail or wind with them. Day two, there's a bigger risk area, and this may get upgraded to a slight risk for some of this. It goes from Texas on up in through Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, western Iowa, and portions of Wyoming. Again, this could get upgraded to a slight risk. We'll have to see what happens. 2%, not even 2% for tornadoes. Wind is at 5%, hail is at 5%. Again, there could potentially be a slight risk upgrade within some of this. Then we come over here to Wednesday. And Wednesday, there is a slight risk from portions of Kansas into Nebraska, Iowa, and even portions of Missouri. And this is something we'll have to watch because they already have a hatched area. There's a small chance this could get upgraded to an enhanced risk, especially for the risk of hail. And I'll show you that on the models in a moment. Going to the 4 to 8 day outlook, there is a day 4 outlook from northeast Texas, including Dallas, portions of Arkansas, southern Missouri, southeastern portions of Oklahoma, and northwest Louisiana. Then on day 5, you have another risk from eastern Texas, Louisiana, portions of Arkansas, even going into places like Mississippi, as there are going to be multiple threat days of severe weather. Taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center, there is a marginal risk of excessive rainfall up in portions of New England today, nothing to be terribly concerned about, and a small marginal risk area in Florida for today. Let's take a look at the HRRR model. Now this is the 18Z run. It's still coming in, but it will show us what we need to see for today. And as you can see here, a few storms do get going over Texas, but nothing terribly impressive. Snow showers continue across the Great Lakes. Even northwest Pennsylvania and western New York, as we head into tomorrow, yes, these are rain and snow showers for you. It's possible because this is a cold core system. There's very cold air aloft with this system. Now, I will say for the coast, the I-95 corridor, we're not concerned tonight about a freeze or frost. Why? Because it's going to be relatively breezy, and that's going to limit how low temperatures will get. And I'll show you that here. As you can see here on the HRRR model, we'll head into tomorrow morning. You can see, I'll be fair, temperatures do get into the low 40s in many places. And you go away from the I-95 corridor, yes, they do go into the upper 30s. And the mountain regions, yeah, below freezing. But for the vast majority of people, we're not terribly concerned about frost or freeze due to the fact that it is going to be windy in this area. Let's take a look at some of the longer range of the forecast, shall we? We'll take a look at the RGM model, and here it is for this afternoon, or tomorrow morning, where there's not much going on in Texas at that point. You may have some showers going on tomorrow, but then watch what happens into the afternoon. You do have a couple thunderstorms that get going tomorrow night in the northern plains. Then as we head into Wednesday and Wednesday afternoon, we see this explosion of activity that goes from portions of Kansas right on even up into Iowa and Wisconsin. Any one of these storms could contain some hail, wind, maybe an isolated tornado is possible with this. And as we head into Thursday, we have another round that tries to get going in that area. We'll have to watch the timing on that. If it's as delayed as the RGM model shows here, there would be an additional threat area that gets added for the morning hours from the SPC for this area on Thursday. As we advance this to the end of the run of the RGM, you can see here the front does come, and you start to see another thread that sets up. We have to switch now to the GFS because RGM only goes out to 84 hours, but I do want to show the GFS here, and the GFS for later this week. Here we are on Thursday night. You can see here from Indiana on south into Texas, there's a pretty good area of thunderstorms that gets going. I mean, this is an impressive system. Take a look at the 500 millibar level here. You can see there is a trough that's setting up here. You do have a closed vortex over the upper Midwest that's going to head into the Great Lakes. So yes, there is reason to believe there could be a multi-day threat here. But another thing to point out is there's going to be a good amount of moisture that gets worked in with this system. So there could be the threat of flash flooding. You can see this boundary does not want to move that fast. So now we're at Friday morning, and across Kentucky you do have stalled, slow-moving convection. And watch what happens here as we head into Friday night. An area of low pressure tries to get going along this boundary. So you have a renewed threat of severe weather. Of course, Louisiana, even Texas, Mississippi, and portions of Arkansas. This does try to push eastward, and it will make eastward progress on Saturday. But we have to watch this again. Late Friday night and Saturday morning is the secondary threat of severe weather. A few isolated tornadoes, wind, and hail are all possible. This front will take its good old time moving to the east. It may not clear the coast, the east coast, until Sunday night, if not even on Monday morning. And you can see here, it does provide a decent slug of moisture for the northeast, especially right in the mid-Atlantic, where we do need the rainfall. And I'll show you total rainfall amounts from GFS. You can see anywhere from 3/4 of an inch up to 1.5 inches of rain across the mid-Atlantic. And over the next 162 hours, GFS is showing 1 to 2 plus inches of rainfall for portions of Vermont and New York State. Back where the initial severe weather threat is, you can see 2 to 4 inches of rainfall does occur, which is why I do think there will be a flash flooding threat with this system. Alrighty, let's take a look at some of the longer range stuff here. Here's days 1 through 7. Precipitation. The Northwest, you're going to continue to see rounds of precipitation throughout the week. Seattle, Oregon, Portland, Oregon. Fortunately, it's an unsettled pattern for you. You're going to see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain, maybe even localized 4 inches of rain over the course of this week. So unfortunately, it's going to be rather gloomy for you. You can see here the WPC, Weather Prediction Center, is going with an area of heavier precipitation right here from Arkansas, the western Kentucky, even almost up into the Ohio Valley. This is because the front, it's going to have that initial slowdown before the next area of energy gets going along it, which does provide a second area of severe weather. So you're going to want to pay attention Friday through Saturday for the potential of flash flooding and severe weather. And of course, we'll be right here to track it for you. Moving on to the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Yes, below average temperatures in the east, above average in the Four Corners region. Someone just said to me today, it was so warm here in the east last weekend, but now it's getting so chilly. I said, well, we're having March-like weather in April, where It's going to be a seesaw, back and forth, back and forth. And that's really what's happening in the east. And unfortunately, we're entering what might be an extended period of below average temperatures in the east. But don't be fooled. There's going to be a couple days, especially in the mid-Atlantic, where you'll still hit near 80 degrees. Later this week, there could be a couple 80-degree days. But overall, as we end out this month, it's going to be a different story than the first half of this month. The Four Corners region above average. 8 to 14 day trend. Below average for California, above average from Texas on north through the plains, and below average for much of the east with exceptions to southern Florida. I mean, there may be a few ridges in between where it does warm up, but we're not expecting any major warm-ups. The general theme will be slightly below average temperatures for this time of year. Precipitation. Above average in the northwest, below average for much of the plains into the Great Lakes, above average in Florida and southern Texas, above average, slightly above average in the New England region. Then it was, as we head to 8 to 14 day outlook, you can see above average from Texas through to Florida, even in the northern plains, some slightly above average area in central and northern California, below average in the Four Corners region, below average in the Great Lakes. All right, that does it for today's weather forecast update. We will have another update tomorrow, especially on the severe weather threat from Texas through to Illinois for late this week, and the potential for flash flooding there. It is pretty good, and it's possible the models do trend wetter with that, as there's going to be an impressive flow coming out of the Gulf. Alrighty, see you all again next time. Until I see you next time, hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. And if you want to see my future videos, subscribe to my channel down below. Have a great day.